Hello. We are trying to solve this problem from section 14-9. We're trying to solve for all values of x on the interval from -180 to 180 such that 4 times sine squared of x is equal to 3. Our first goal is to isolate the variable. We're trying to get x all by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Sine squared of x is equal then to 3/4. Taking the square root of both sides, I will get sine of x is equal to, don't forget the plus or minus. Remember, when you take a square root, you're introducing this idea. You have to remember plus or minus. And then I'm going to rationalize all at once. Square root of 3 over 2. The square root of 4 is, of course, 2. Looking at this, we have really two cases already. We have one where the sine of x is positive 3/2 and one where sine of x is negative 3/2. I will write them both out. Sine of x is equal to 3/2 square root 3 over 2. That's what I meant. I'm sorry, I missed that as I spoke. Or sine of x is equal to negative root 3 over 2. Looking at our unit circle, when is sine of x root 3 over 2? Well, x would have to be either equal to 60 or x would have to be equal to 120. These are the only two options where sine of x is equal to square root 3 over 2 on our normal domain. But if we want all possible values, we're going to add 360k, where k is any integer. Over here, we're going to take this equation and see if we can solve for when sine of x is equal to negative 3 over 2. Looking at your unit circle, x could be equal to 300, or x could be equal to 240. Again, to solve for all coterminal angles, we will add 360k plus 360k. Now, the last step is to find all the solutions. We found all of them. We have to just find the ones that are in the range that we were given initially. We want to find between -180 and positive 180. Looking at this first equation, this only gives us one option, and that option would be 60. If you plug in 1 for k, you're too large, and anything else would get too large. -1, you're already starting too small. So the only thing you can plug in for k there is 1. Here, we can plug in 0 for k, and that's the only option we have within this range. If we plug in -1, we're too small. Positive 1, we're already too large. For this next equation, though, we can't plug in 0. 300 is outside of the range we're looking in. So I'm going to plug in -1. If I plug in -1, we'll get out -60 degrees. That would be within the range. Can't plug in -2, can't plug in 0, so that's the only option within this range. For this last one, I'll plug in, again I have to plug in -1 for k. That gives me -120 as the answer. And there is your solution. That gives you all the solutions on the interval for this initial problem.